Can you walk?
I'm fine.
Now keep pressure on it. Gotta get you someplace warm.
I'm surprised Capelli isn't shouting or hitting something in frustration. Compassionate Capelli is a bit odd to see, but, well. Anyways, welcome to a sort of faux escort mission.
Looks like a safe place to rest. We must find a way up there. Quickly.
So Malikov is gonna wander somewhere and just quietly sit there, and we get to do our own thing.
Let's build defenses around the coal tower. Maybe survivors nearby.
I don't know if he can actually get hurt by leapers or grims or whatever, but yeah, whatever. Anyways, this is where we start to see our first signs of a human resistance. You may notice spray paint all over this train yard with a little R marked on it. That will be explained in a little bit, but there are still other humans fighting the Chimera. In retrospect, I didn't need to drop any grenades in there to blow up the eggs. Most of the eggs in this area don't hatch, and in fact, most of the leapers in this area just ignore me. But, sort of a habit I cultivated from playing Resistance 2 a lot. I just like to shoot any sort of eggs, just in case a leaper or a grim pops out. Better safe than sorry. After all, you don't get regenerating health in this game, so... preemptive measures. Despite this level having a lot of trains in it at the moment, I wouldn't classify it as a train level. Certainly not as cool as Orb Mantle in Shadows of the Empire. Capelli is no Dash Rendar, but he's trying. Quasi-escort mission, we still have to wait for Malikov to get around. And he's an older gentleman, he's injured, so he doesn't move very fast. You may remember those from earlier Resistance games.
It is gone. You're very fortunate.
Widowmakers are now considered to be feral. Oh, thank you, Malikov. Although, based on what he says, it sounds like not all Widowmakers are feral, so... yeah, who knows? Who knows what the whole feral Chimera deal is. Again, quasi-escort mission, we have to wait for Malikov to move.
Don't look at me like that. I'm old.
Yeah, he climbs really slow. I like that line right there because it's funny. Is the player looking at his butt? Is the player sort of like frowning because he's old and frail? But, yeah, that's a funny line. It's good stuff.
Vito, you can use it to get to New York. We must find it before the Chimera.
And that's some pretty lazy Deus Ex Machina right there. Just as we lose our boat, a VTOL flies past.
I need to rest. I will be safe here. Go, Joseph. Find that VTOL.
Coals are still burning in the fire, so Somebody was here not too long ago. I just picked up a zip line. I think you get to use the zip line like 3 times in the game. It's, I don't know why that mechanic was introduced. But it's there. Those voices that we're hearing over the radio, those would be the Remnants. They're the people who have been tagging the area with little yellow R's. They are the human resistance currently in this area. And this gun is a lot of fun. That is a Grim pod. Shooting it kills the Grim that's inside, so that you don't have to worry about it popping out later, because it probably will pop out later at some point. Something that Resistance 3 likes to do is allow you to walk through an area pretty much unscathed, and then afterwards have Grims pop up just like that and chase after you. Anyways, the atomizer is pretty cool. It's basically a lightning gun, and you just sort of hold down the button and disintegrate everything in front of you. It doesn't have a very long range, so you have to be relatively close, but it's a fun gun. Second function drops a mini black hole, which sort of just sucks up everything within a small sort of 3-meter radius and, again, disintegrates it. Ammunition for this gun is somewhat rare, so use it sparingly. It's great for taking out huge swarms of leapers and grims. That right there is my tiny black hole thing. I don't know what that is. It's cool, though. Energy ball. But yeah, like the auger, ammunition is somewhat sparse, so I'm going to show it off a bit here and maybe save a bit for later. But since this is the first time we get the atomizer, the game is fairly generous with ammunition. Outside of this warehouse, you tend to only find atomizer ammo with Ravagers. The atomizer doesn't change wildly as it levels up. I believe it gets more powerful. I can't honestly, off the top of my head, remember what exactly different levels do, but it's super effective even at its first stage, so I'm just having fun using it. Those of you who have played Resistance 2 may find these Grim Swarms reminiscent of the Chicago level in Resistance 2. Only instead of having a giant razor blade shooting rifle, like the Ripper from Unreal Tournament, that can hack off all their limbs, we just disintegrate them. But yeah, Atomizer, great gun. This is the first truly unique gun we've got in the game so far. Up to this point, every other gun we've had is pretty bog standard for an FPS, or has been a returning gun from a previous game. So we're 6 chapters in. We finally have a new gun. That's a good thing. This is a good feeling. This is something to celebrate. All right. This is the exit, so I'm just gonna run and hope the Grims don't follow me. Which they don't. So, great. Much like the zipline, the shooting targets to activate things is a mechanic that we actually don't see a lot of in this game. So, yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It just is. This is the Far Eye. Sorry, the Dead Eye. It is not the same as the sniper rifles from earlier games. Rather than slowing down time as a second function, you get a charge blast. So that's neat, I guess. It's okay. The charge blast is pretty powerful. It can knock out any chimera with a single shot. A smaller chimera. Larger chimera, it does quite a bit of damage, but it, again, takes a moment to charge. It's not remarkable. It's not the most interesting sniper rifle. But, hey, I guess we'll take it. Not as exciting as the atomizer.
Fighters had surrounded and killed over 2,000 enemies. This one's for the brave men and women in Africa.
So, wow. The resistance, the human resistance around the world is doing pretty good. In the games, we only really see what goes on in the United States and Europe, specifically Paris and the UK, so it's good to hear that other people are doing all right. I'm not a fan of fighting leapers in close quarters. They move quickly, they are kind of difficult to hit. This is a console shooter game, so you can't move your aim around as quickly as you might like to, but I remembered that I had the concussive grenades on the shotgun, even though the shotgun is not upgraded to do incendiary damage with its grenade. I remembered that the concussive blast is strong enough to liquidate leapers, so that is what I did right there. With all that ammo out, the best thing to really do is to just find something that has a lot of ammunition and fires really quickly, and just spray the hallways with bullets. But more leapers keep hatching, so I'm just gonna actually get out of here.
Charlie's on his way. Keep away from the VTOL.
So this is a neat little set piece. The Remnants and their VTOL are stuck in a courtyard down on the street level. There's this massive bombed out apartment building just filled with chimera, and we come out in another bombed out apartment building that's slightly higher up. So Capelli starts off with the high ground. and you actually have to work your way down, first through the chimeran apartments, and then down to the ground. I'm low on health, but I don't actually want to go down there just yet because there are a lot of chimera that I can wipe out beforehand. The long legs that are jumping around are the biggest concern. I think I've killed most of them at this point, but just in case, I need to be careful. Yeah, I think that's the last health kit up here. Once I go down the zipline, I can't come back up, so I don't want to give away this cover just yet. With the long legs down, I'm now prioritizing the steelheads. Once they spot me, their auger fire is frustrating. Only a few of them. Now that they're gone, I can basically pick off the hybrids at my leisure.
Hey, you! Over here!
Alright, let's head down. That's enough. Another great use of the auger when in tight quarters like this surrounded by chimera is to just pop it open and see where exactly they are. So there are actually two more steelheads. Killed one a moment ago, and there's the other one. He's gone now. Once again, with the steelheads out of the way, I basically own the battlefield. Firing the auger through walls is preferred. If you missed the little dossier on the auger in earlier posts, the energy blasts actually become more powerful the more walls they have to travel through. So that's one of the reasons I like to hide and fire with the auger. I think most of these little apartments are cleared, so I'm going to head out to the street and join up with the Remnants.
Thanks for the help! Keep fighting!
We're all clear!
Hey, new guy!
Oh,
Over here!
that was
Thanks
it.
for the help, fella.
Okay.
Name's Ellis. This here is Glenda and Martin.
Good shooting out there.
Yeah, we could use a guy like you around here.
No doubt. But that's Charlie's call. Spread out. Keep away from the VTOL. I got the right side.
Now we get a little defense mission. I've never lost this mission. I don't know if you can actually have the VTOL be destroyed. I'm going to assume that is pretty much invincible. For all the fuss they make about protecting it, I'm pretty sure it's fine. But, yeah, I've never even had the VTOL explode on Superhuman. So that right there is a Ravager. They return from Resistance 2. In Resistance 2, they were basically just meat sponges. In Resistance 3, they get the atomizer weapon, and so they play a bit of unique role on the battlefield, in that they rush forward with an energy shield to get into range to try and do a ton of damage to you. They're more fun to fight than they were in Resistance 2. A little bit more dangerous. They move more quickly. The best part is that they give you ammunition for the atomizer.
I'll go down here till the dropships are gone.
Grenades and ammo up on the second floor.
Good. Load up. This might get a little hairy.
Ellis, it's Charlie. I'm on my way. Where are you?
We're holed up in the pub. But don't worry, we got it covered. We got a new friend here. He helped us out. Guy's a hell of a fighter, Charlie.
Get back to the hideout as soon as you can. And bring your new friend.
We'll head out as soon as the skies are clear.
Dropship coming in from the west.
Listen up. Let's hit these bastards in the streets. Keep them away from the doors. Got it?
So, we were just told to protect the VTOL not a moment ago, and now we're hiding in a building where the VTOL can very easily be shot at. Again, I don't think it's... I'm pretty sure the VTOL's fine, but... It just... Yeah, the game's not doing a good job of making me feel like the VTOL needs to be protected. Because now we're just protecting ourselves. Anyways, they say to protect the doors. You don't really have to. It does make this area a little bit easier if the Chimera don't get into the building. But if they knock down the doors, it's no big deal. It just means that the Chimera come into the pub and you have to shoot them in the pub. In some ways, I actually find letting the Chimera blow up one of the doors to be easier, because then you can actually go back out and kill them before they get in the pub. Except then the people you're with start complaining and saying, "Hey, you, come back in, it's safer," and you have to listen to some annoying NPC chatter, but
I see them. They're moving in from the south.
yeah, I missed that shot with the energy blast, and I really regret it. There we go. Rev just can take quite a few hits.
They're attacking the door.
Take him out! We gotta hold that door!
You're almost through the door.
Front door! Front door!
They're breaking in.
Again, I almost prefer to do this fight with an open door, so I don't really care. I let them blow up the door.
Bad idea, pal. I'd stay inside if I were you.
He says it's a bad idea, but on superhuman difficulty, it actually made it really easy, because with an open door, the Chimeran AI will focus on just funneling straight towards it. So it's really easy just to mow them down with lots and lots of bullets and explosives.
Coming down the street.
Let's shoot.
You can see the Ravagers will even tank a couple of charged Deadshot. Deadeye? Shot Eye? They can tank a couple of charged sniper rifle shots. They still are a bit of a meat sponge, and because they run around so much, it's sometimes difficult to get a beat on them to get a proper headshot, but Doing alright so far. Both doors are open, but that just means it's even easier to take out the chimera. I believe there is an achievement for taking out the chimera without having any of the doors knocked out, but I am definitely not going for that here. Ravagers getting inside is a bit of a problem. The rest of the hybrids, having the doors open is great, but if a Ravager gets in the building, that can be somewhat frustrating, really because of the atomizer. Again, the game doing a really bad job at selling how the VTOL is important and we should protect the VTOL because we needed to get to New York. Now we're just abandoning it. Reminder, not too long ago, these guys were going on about how we need to protect the VTOL. So now we're just going to leave it there and hope nothing goes wrong with it. Spoiler alert, nothing does go wrong with it, so it doesn't matter, but it just seems, I don't know. For all we know, the Chimera are blowing it up right now.
Easy on the eyes, too.
Man's married, Glenda. Didn't you see his ring?
Doesn't mean I can't pay him a compliment. You jealous?
Enough. Charlie will decide what to do with him once we get back to the hideout.
Having Capelli be a silent protagonist during gameplay really makes for moments like this kind of awkward, because
all of us Remnants.
Charlie was an officer in the army.
Is that what he told you?
He wasn't an officer?
He wasn't in the army. Not officially, anyway.
That lying son of a bitch.
What do you mean, not officially? Charlie's father was a senator. Wanted him to go to college, study politics, all that. Charlie left home on his way to Harvard, but took a detour and showed up at Fort Benning. Talked his way onto the base, broke into the commander's office, forged some paperwork. The next day, we had a new sergeant. That sounds like Charlie.
considering who Capelli is, I really feel like he'd be a bit more of a chatterbox during gameplay. Like he's a talkative guy, usually to cuss at things and to swear, at least in the earlier game. But yeah, the silent protagonist thing really doesn't work for me in terms of selling Capelli's character. Again, I think it was a big misstep not to just have him idly chatter, have some scripted lines as responses while playing. But so it goes. This is what we got. Silent protagonist Capelli. Only talks and cutscenes. This part's kind of neat. The brawler will just smash through everything. If you play this section long enough, it will bust down every wall and pillar. It's kind of fun. Not too difficult. Really just keep running. Just make it circle you like you did in the first area. The Remnants won't really draw fire at all. They'll sort of shoot at it ineffectively like they're doing right now. But for the most part, this guy's going to chase after Capelli. And as you saw, he can jump up on different floors. He'll knock down the walls. Just got to keep moving. Just don't go into a corner. If you get trapped in a corner, then you're in trouble. Thanks, Tips. Great idea. Although that did work, it did cause it to pause and then cover itself so that I could more easily shoot it. Should be nice and Martin, but that was good advice in retrospect.
It's down! He killed it!
cow. I thought we were goners. Come on, let's get out of here.
Ladies first.
Look out below!
Ellis, where are you?
We're almost to the hideout.
Still got that friend of yours with you?
Sure do. Big man just took out a brawler.
Did he now? Well, can't wait to meet him. He and I may have some business to discuss.
Capelli never struck me as the business type, so we'll see how this goes.